sight, you are going to get epilepsy. You will have allergies. You'll have bad ears. You'll have just a bunch of different problems. But there is a way to push back. You always talk about what can we do to fight back. There is a titer test that you can ask for instead of the yearly vaccine. I work for the biggest stars in Hollywood. Actually, I'm in LA now. And do you think they get their animals yearly shots? No. And most of them don't vaccinate their kids either, by the way. But you can go in, get a titer test, measure the immunity level in your pet, and they have found, the people that I've worked for now for 12 years, and I'm talking about, like Dustin Hoffman, Elizabeth Taylor, big, big, big stars, we have found that the immunity lasts up to 9-10 years, and these animals never needed a booster shot.
They knew that the whole time. That's what Jess Adkins, top of his class, Texas A&M, still's a vet to this day. That's what he said. He said, look, Alex, this stuff lasts 5 to 10 years. It's pure bull. The vaccine makers lobby to get regulations in to make more money. And he would tell people, don't get your shot every year for your dog, because he saw it. And again, exactly the same thing. Epilepsy, tumor at the injection site, bad ears, diarrhea, irritable gut in the animals. Sometimes do the dogs have convulsions right there in your shop?
Well, they can't. The worst part is with the puppies and the kittens. I have a friend who works at the Humane Society. They vaccinated, you get 25 doses in a batch. They vaccinated all the cats in the shelter. She came to work the next day. They were all dead. And do you know what the person said? The vet in charge said, oh, guess we must have gotten a bad batch. Indeed. I guess, I don't know what your goal was, but, yeah, it was a bad batch.
Yeah, I'm no rocket scientist, but every medical doctor I know goes, oh, yeah, no, this does have cancer viruses. It does make you have epilepsy. It does cause brain damage. I ran into the head state guy. Oh, it had to be 6-8 months ago on the hike and bike trail. And I looked him up. He told me his name. I looked him up. He said, just don't say my name. He was the head guy in the state. I won't say over what, but involved in vaccination. And it was him and his wife. I go, listen, we really like your show. We read your magazine, and we're going to go to break and come back with Chuck Baldwin. This is such an important subject. He looked right at me. And he said, but the end justifies the means. Statistically, there's less diseases and things because we do this, but we do cover up that it's hurting people because of it'll make folks not get them. And I said, actually, I've seen the statistics. Hygiene and running water and better food by the 20s in the West made the diseases go down. Vaccines come in the 40s, and disease goes back up, just not as high as the level, the pre-20s level. And he goes, yeah, I've read that too, but you know what? It's just got to be done. And I go, it's got to be done because it's your job. And he just said, hey, man, I got to go. Do not tell people my name. And then I went and looked the guy up, and sure enough, he was, it's just insane. He works at the state health department right here in Austin. And look, I'm just telling the public, they have these hoaxes. I appreciate your call, man. Incredible. You ought to do a YouTube disguising your name or whatever and, warn people. They've got to put her on hold. If she's not gone, she's gone, and get her on as a whistleblower. People listen when you call it a whistleblower. She's not really a whistleblower. She's just telling her testimony, but people listen when you say it's a whistleblower because they act like warning people's illegal nowadays, so I guess it is a whistleblower. But they sit there and fearmonger and tell you it's the law. You'll be arrested if you don't vaccinate your kids. There is no law in any state. You got to vaccinate. They have policies through the state health department saying this is the list of recommended vaccines. Then if you don't have them, you're supposed to get a waiver. But then they'll lie to you thinking you're ignorant and tell you there is no waiver. Now, they're trying to change the laws to make it mandatory. And you're not going to assault me with any of these vaccines you've jacked with stuff. Because my grandmother got polio weeks after she got the polio vaccine. My uncle almost died, my dad's brother, he's alive, when he took a tetanus shot working on a ranch, and it almost killed him. And my dad got sick once taking a vaccine. My mother used to be a triathlete, never got sick. She almost died taking a flu shot like 12 years ago. They're full of garbage. And they admit that a lot of the kids that take polio vaccines now, where they still give it over in Asia, end up getting, quote, paralyzed from it. They don't just call it polio. They call it paralysis. No, it gives you polio. I mean, that's a fact. That's a fact. We'll be right back.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
It's time for a home security quiz. What effective home security device is smaller than a coffee cup, fakes out burglars into thinking someone is home at your house while you're away, plugs into any wall outlet, is recommended by many police departments, and sells for less than $30? Yes, it's Fake TV. This year, about 1 in every 50 U.S. homes will have a break-in, with burglars usually picking the easy target, a dark house that looks like no one is home. Fake TV is a small electronic security device that makes it look like someone is home watching TV by simulating the light from a real TV. Fake TV could be the difference between coming home to a secure house or one that's been ransacked. To get your Fake TV for only $29.95 with free shipping, go to faketv.com or call 1-877-5-FAKE-TV. That's 877-532-5388 or go to faketv.com. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
It seems that everywhere you turn to these days, people are talking about the health benefits of silver. But don't be fooled into believing all silver is the same. Only one silver solution has been clinically shown to be hundreds of times stronger than colloidal or ionic silver. That's supernatural silver. It can be used internally as a powerful immune system enhancer to fight off bacteria and viruses. Supernatural silver can be used topically to treat any type of wound or skin issue. It's even gentle enough to be used on the ears, eyes, and sinuses. And unlike harsh drugs and antibiotics, supernatural silver has no side effects. Available as a liquid or a gel that you can use every day to stay healthy and well. To experience outstanding customer service and to place your order, visit supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off your entire order. Give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver, only at supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com.
Federal agents, we are armed!
What would you do if you knew all the things we know? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk away? What would you do if you knew?
If the United States had state-run media, wouldn't it also have state-run churches? Well, it turns out we do. And that process has been going on since the 40s. Until now, under 501c3, churches tell their flocks, if you're at a church picnic, don't talk about politics. There is no law. the so-called regulations turn a church into a charity, and then now it's no longer a church, it's a state-run charity. That's the alchemy that is engaged in. Just like the private Federal Reserve took over from the issuance of currency and credit by the Congress, but called itself federal, and the power of the purse was removed in 1913, December 23rd. Joining us for the balance of the hour, a little bit into the next, is Pastor Chuck Baldwin, and his last column was his most read ever. And we're going to repost it right now to Infowars.com, dealing with the pastors deliberately misleading their flocks. And to me, more and more, this is the big issue. Because you'll have a lot of good rhetoric in these big mega churches, even small ones, but they're getting state-run information to get the faith-based initiative money. And that's why they won't go out and stop abortion. They won't criticize Obama. They won't do anything. But if you're a, quote, liberal church, you can say GD America and, you know, all the rest of it, and let's turn our guns in. That's okay. So to fight back against this is Pastor Chuck Baldwin. He's been fighting hard for a long time. He came out with his best-selling book a few years ago that we sell at InfoWarsStore.com. We're 10% off everything until next week. Back to school special. Romans 13, The True Meaning of Submission, 2nd edition, with Timothy Baldwin, his son, and more. I'm going from memory. Isn't Timothy a constitutional lawyer? I can't remember. He's a great interview as well. Pastor Baldwin, this is a short segment, long segment coming up. I want to get into the initiative some now, but then mainly into why we need this initiative and plug the website. It's a beautiful new site, and I know this initiative is already exploding, even though you just announced it, because the people are ready to be let out of Egypt right now. As soon as they learn they're actually in a government temple with a government operative up there on the balcony making them all feel good, I have a feeling this whole facade's going to crumble.
Hey, thanks, Alex. Yeah, you're exactly right. And yeah, my son is the constitutional attorney, and he and I wrote the book on Romans 13 to debunk this ridiculous theory that Christians are supposed to submit to government no matter what. And they use Romans 13 as the predicate for that, and of course it's erroneous, to say the least. So we expose all that scripturally using both the Old and the New Testament to prove categorically that nowhere does God expect his people to submit to tyranny, no matter what government may say contrary. But the column you referred to is George Barna just came out with some fantastic research, a 2-year project where that he was studying the churches and their political involvement, and if they were not involved, why not? And as a result of this survey, he released some information that I thought was really fascinating, one of which was that 90% of the pastors told him in the research that they knew that the Bible spoke to all of these political issues that we're dealing with today as a country, and yet they refused to deal with those issues. Now, to me, that was a staggering revelation, because usually what you'll hear these preachers say is that, well, God hadn't called me to preach on that. I'm just supposed to preach the gospel. These things aren't relevant to the Bible. You know, pick the subject. It doesn't matter. The Scripture is silent on these issues, and that's what a lot of times you will hear. But the survey said that they know that the Bible speaks to all of these issues, but they are not going to address them because they're controversial, which means that they are deliberately refusing to address the truth. They are choosing to not tell their people the truth. They know what they're doing, that it's not ignorance. A lot of times, you know, they say, well, my pastor would, you know, he just doesn't realize what's going on.
It's premeditated deception. Exactly. Which ups the crime in God's eyes up big time.
I agree with that totally. It is premeditated deception. This was a fascinating revelation. So now we can throw ignorance out forever as an excuse as to why these preachers are not willing to deal with the issues and tell their people what's going on.
This is huge. We're going to break down your column and the cure to it. When we come back, we're having the column reposted right now to Infowars.com. We'll tweet it out. State-run churches caught red-handed is what we're going to put the title up there. And we're going to break down his new initiative that literally could change the world if you, the listeners, take action and help spread this Liberty Church movement. Stay with us. Infowars.com.
We're on the march.